Host of Forged in Fire.
Kyle Mann.
I'm G. Warner Wallace.
Kira Davis.
It's Ben Adams.
Hey, this is Dave Bacon.
Carrie Pomeroli.
This is Mike Reiner.
This is Ethan Nicole.
This is Liam Morgan.
This is Graham Parker, the Fifth GP, and this is why you should never.
How I got suckered in.
I'm so embarrassed that I'm here.
You're wasting your time. You got better things to do.
Never listen.
Those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Reverend and the Reprobate, a show where two best buds interview people they have no business talking to. My name is Lucas Pinkert. I'm an actual pastor, and here with me always is a man who can't decide what the name of his favorite band is. It's Dan Flip Gibson.
It's Guns and Altar Queen.
Guns and Altar Queen.
Yeah.
The new band with frontman RuPaul. What's going on, Flip?
Oh, no, what? How was your little trip that you had?
Okay, so for the first time in 20 years, I went to the dentist.
How old are you?
16.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I've not been in Camden's lifetime. I've not been to the dentist
It has
in
been
Camden's lifetime.
3 or 4 years for me.
So,
When was the last time you went to the dentist?
yeah,
A couple months ago.
good for you.
Well, yeah, but here's the deal.
Good for you. By the way,
you still have
By the way,
parents.
who is this?
This is Camden.
Who is this? This is Camden
Hernandez,
Hernandez.
who is becoming a Star Wars.
He is.
And you still have parents that can make you and pay for said dentistry.
Mm-hmm. I go to the kids' dentist.
So that doesn't
You
count.
hold on. You go to a pediatric dentist? That's so weird.
What kind of thing? What does the wallpaper look like? What are the walls
a
like?
lot of anthropomorphic teeth.
Yeah. You are so smart, by the way. I'm constantly impressed with you.
Anthropomorphic teeth.
Also insects. There's a lot
Yeah.
of insects.
Yeah, no
Did
doubt.
they have TVs on the ceiling?
Yes, they do.
Oh, I love that. I
Okay,
had
so
a
my
root canal.
dentist had TVs on the ceiling.
I had a root canal, and I had heard my whole life, oh, root canal. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll pray for you.
Yeah, right.
And I went and had one.
What sort of like half Catholic thing did you just do
It
across
doesn't-
your face?
It doesn't matter, but yeah. So they numb me
We're
up,
Baptists.
and
we
then
do
I
the
watched.
sign of the cross right over our schnoz.
Would you shut up? And then I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then they were done, and I was like, that was it.
But did you get to choose your entertainment?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was
All right,
Netflix.
so-
I had a remote. It was awesome.
I chose Top Gun last time.
I had
so-
nitrous, numbing, and movies.
Here was the
and Netflix.
thing
Dang it!
about
Nitrous, numbing, and movies. It was literally Netflix.
So close. So
Unbelievable.
the thing about my dentist is that my dentist, who I just met for the first time, my dentist is in like this very sort of wants to be well-to-do suburb of Dallas.
Yeah.
Right, which is populated primarily by people we refer to as the $30,000 millionaire. Like the guy that is so far in debt from his house and his Mercedes that he's taken out loans to pay his monthly bills. That's okay.
Or his high-rise apartment.
Yeah, right. So, anywho, they don't give you the option of what you want to watch on this screen. It's just HGTV.
Oh, no.
Like, that's it. Yeah, so I was watching some dude that was working on somebody's vacation home. And believe it or not,
It's still
the
better.
person whose vacation home he was working on, they
Was
made
Tracy Morgan.
They made
Little-known fact.
their kids help out, and that was the first real hard manual labor their kids ever did was to paint doors.
If you want to do some hard manual labor, go to summer camp this month, next month, and Little Rock, Arkansas. We're going to be We're going to be taking care.
Those
all right,
are.
moving.
I'm glad.
All right, none of my details are right. I haven't signed the
that's
paperwork
okay.
either. So
So what happened was I've got this permanent retainer on my bottom tooths, and it builds up some tartar.
Yeah.
As it does. Well, let me fast forward
Delicious with shrimp.
Let me fast forward to the end of this and let everybody know. I've got no cavities, needed no fillings after not going to the dentist for 20
Let's
years.
hit the high level stuff.
Right? Like everything in my mouth looks great except for what's behind this retainer because you just can't clean it enough unless you've got the professional high-powered
Yeah. You gotta have some
boil
scrape
my
in there.
mouth and smoke with the drill
and scrape
tools.
with some blades.
Well, I decided that wasn't necessarily the case.
Okay.
So I went to the dollar store and I bought one of those little scrapers because I got tired of the plaque, which had turned into tartar behind
Dentist,
behind my
schmentist,
teeth. Yeah, I was
dollar
like,
store.
I'm gonna go. And so I got the scraper and
We're
I tried
gonna
the little pick.
HGTV this.
Yeah, for sure. So I tried the little pick.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm doing this obviously like at night when Kirsten and the baby are asleep because I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, and she can't make you stop if she
Right.
doesn't know
Yeah,
about
for
it.
sure. That's exactly right. So I get the little like there's the pick part and then there's this part that's very obviously designed to chip away at tartar or rocks. And so I used it and I got a little piece of tartar off. I was like, okay. And then I'm like pushing my teeth with one thumb to make sure that the hand that I'm using to like scrape with doesn't accidentally move and either like just shred my gums or knock out a tooth. And I get another piece of tartar off that was significant enough that it created sharp edges around that area. And I realized like how deep it went. And then when I was kind of like tongue in the area to try to like feel around, I was like, you know what?
Like I have a whole collection that I've.
No, this is like one solid, like this is gross. It was one solid piece of tartar. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet and go to the dentist because this is a lot of work and I can't really see what's happening.
What I decided?
And I'm fairly certain.
Dentists are a thing.
Probably go to the
I'm
person
fairly
who
certain.
went to college
Once
for
every
this.
20 years.
I mean, college smallage. They did, and the guy who did
Also
my teeth.
something your grandma wouldn't
yeah,
like.
but okay. So first off, the guy who did my teeth, he didn't go to college. He's a hygienist. He went to a trade school. Like, he's got as much qualifications to clean my teeth as he does to re-weld the bar that
you're a
goes in the back
hygienist,
of them.
You're on notice. Rev and Rep has put you on
for
notice.
sure. So
tartar
anyway,
gets cleaned up.
So yeah, so he looks at my mouth and he's like, "Wow, you know, pretty good for not coming to the dentist for 20 years." It's like, "Thank you."
You had to have told him that, or did he look at your records and go like, "Wow, we have nothing."
Yeah, no, I told him he was like, "When's the last time you came?" And I was like,
If you would have gotten hit by a bus, they would have had no idea.
No
who it
idea.
was.
So
dental records do not exist.
The last time I went to the dentist is the checkup after I got my wisdom teeth taken out when I was 17. I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and then they wanted me to come
said,
back.
"I'm turning 18 soon."
No, well,
see you guys later.
So here's the thing:
Mom can't make me do it.
They sewed part of my cheek into the area. So like your cheek has this little thing that connects like right at the very, very back of your gums, right? They put a little extra in there whenever they sewed the stuff down for my wisdom teeth, and I was not very happy about it. And so there's like this weird pocket that I had for a while, and then I got tired of it, so I took a pocket knife.
I want credit for not saying something.
I took a pocket knife and I cut my cheek open, and then I packed it with salt so that it wouldn't like grow back because I got tired of having to like suck everything out of there. And since then, I haven't gone back to the dentist until the other day whenever I chipped tartar off my teeth.
You pinkered Viking.
He wouldn't fix it. It was annoying. So I took care of it. So now I went back.
So crazy.
And it's weird. Because like now I can, for the first time in like, I don't know, at least a decade, I can feel the, like all of my teeth under the retain, like that are lower.
Quit yawning. That's rude.
Yeah, jerk.
I'm sorry.
Listen to his tooth story.
The southern hemisphere of my front bottom teeth, I can now feel with my tongue, which I've never been able to, well, I'm sure I did at one point. I haven't been able to do for a while. And there's also this gap between my teeth and my retainer.
You're talking a lot about teeth.
Yeah, I know. You brought it up. So there's this gap between my teeth and my retainer because tartar had built up between it and like pushed my bottom 4 teeth out like Bill Engvall's dorkfish dolphin. so now, yeah. So now I'm talking, and every time I talk, I'm like acutely aware of where this retainer and my teeth are now. So now I've got a blister on my tongue because I keep going. And
I remember when I got braces off, I just couldn't stop.
Yeah,
checking them out. We should intentionally talk about our dear friends, Ricky Pope and his friend.
Yeah, Ricky Pope and Mike Schilling, who are part of the Speaking Nerdy podcast and members of Christian Nerd HQ. Here's a quick word from those guys. Make sure you check out their show.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Pope.
Every Friday, Mike and I talk about nerdy fandoms, the latest nerdy news, and Mike tries to make me laugh by sharing stupid news that often starts with a Florida man. We're glad to be part of the Christian Nerd HQ podcast network. You can catch us on all of your favorite podcast apps or on YouTube at youtube.com/speakingnerdy. Be sure to check out speakingnerdy.com for even more great content from us.
And I'm back. Like Alana from Tea Time Crimes.
I know.
Yeah.
They are
genius.
so great.
They are. They're wonderful. You should go check their show out, but not with your kids and not at work because it is NSFW.
Alana and her husband
Right?
took pictures for Mother's Day, but she's not a mother as far as I'm aware.
I mean, she's like a squirrel mom because they're always rescuing squirrels and cats off of bridges. And also, I think it was their anniversary.
That doesn't
I
count.
think that's why they did it is because it was their
Doesn't count.
anniversary.
Then don't post it on Mother's Day.
So maybe they shouldn't have their anniversary
They
on
shouldn't have
Mother's
gotten
Day.
married on Mother's Day.
So
That was an
hold
attempt
on.
of her husband
So
to
you
get
think-
to get it all done at once, which I respect.
But Mother's Day changes every year.
That's true.
So it's not like he planned that out.
I don't know. Okay, I guess not.
So
On
what
today's
what
show.
you're suggesting though is don't get married in May at all, just in case your birthday falls out or your anniversary.
Because I will call you out on
Yeah.
trying to put all of the dates together. So as a husband, you don't have to do much.
Yeah, just in case
And
your wedding
I
birthday.
respect the game, but I am going to take a crap on it.
Yeah, just in case your wedding birthday falls on Mother's Day, you're not allowed to get married in May, or else Danley will make a poodoo on it. Speaking of poodoo,
which, nice.
thank you very much. Camden becomes a Star Wars. This is episode 2. Talk to us, Camden. How do you feel about episode 2? And let's rate it. Let's get your rating on
Yes.
1 to 10 on how much you hate this movie. Is it equal to or greater than Anakin
Wait.
Skywalker's hatred of sand?
He did. He went on about sand. He kept going.
I have a
what's
suggestion
your
for the
rating?
rating.
Yeah, go for it.
I think we do 1 out of 10 because I liked the trend that we've done so far.
Yeah.
We do 1 out of 10 assassin worm pooping robots.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
That's what they send after Amidala.
Yeah.
Padme.
Yep. So
1 out of 10.
1 out
What
of
do you
10.
got?
How many?
I give it like a 7.
Okay, so
That's
this is
still
hire
That's still pretty
than
good.
episode 1.
Yeah, I like this more than episode 1.
Wow.
What-
All right. So tell us
Do
what.
we recap kind of? I kind of like the idea of doing a quick summary.
You want to do a quick summary of episode 1 or of episode 2? I think Camden's going to give us his quick summary of episode 2.
Cool.
If you're watching at home and you haven't watched Star Wars episode 2, beware, spoilers may be coming. Also, you've had enough freaking time to watch this absolute abomination of a film.
I thought it was all right.
There we go. That's
It
what we
wasn't
needed
my
to
favorite
know.
one, but I thought
Obviously not.
I thought it was better than a Phantom Menace.
Okay, so talk to us. What are your positive takeaways from episode 2, Attack of the Clones?
Obi-Wan's hair got better,
Okay, yes, markedly.
100%.
but
Yep.
then Anakin's got worse. He got that rat tail and ponytail combo.
Yeah, he does have the Padawan braid.
Also, his body and face got different.
Yeah, he's like 20 now instead of being like 10.
How old is he in this one?
I don't know. He acts
was
like a
thinking-
child, so
Well, he does that until he gets all burned.
yeah. Spoiler alert for Camden.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Well, I already knew that.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen that scene.
But you don't know it
All
yet.
right, pinch it off, Cindy.
We
Let's
haven't
go. What else
recorded
is
it.
up there?
Anakin is also super sassy in the beginning.
He is. Yep.
He's so
He doesn't want to listen.
He doesn't. You know who he
He's an
acts a lot
insolent
like?
child.
He acts a lot like Luke.
like you, Luke.
No,
Or
like
Skywalker.
Luke, like Luke Skywalker.
Do you remember how whiny Luke was?
like
Yeah,
whiny
he
and
was very
sassy and I don't wanna.
I don't wanna.
Ugh.
Well, all my family's dead now, so I'll go.
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do?
Now that he found those crispy bodies by the door, as Bad Lip
I want to
Reading
go
told
now.
us. Yep.
And I bet you do.
What else happened? Jar Jar got put in charge for some reason, but it kept him out of the movie, which was nice. He wasn't in it for very much.
Did you notice? I believe it's in this movie that there's a when you see Jar Jar that he stares into the camera for a while. There's a
I
moment
did
that
not notice that.
there's a moment that
I try not.
I don't remember,
try not
I don't
to
remember the line
acknowledge
he
Jar Jar.
delivers, but it's really. I think it's. I found it funny that this could be complete nonsense, but it's almost like he's not deadpanning, but staring down the audience of going, "Yeah, I'm in this movie,"
Deal with
and
it.
then they moved him on.
Yeah, so he's 19. Anakin is in this movie.
Oh, I was
You nailed
close.
it.
I said
You were
18.
close,
You
yeah.
nailed it.
Or I said
Yeah.
20. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is a pretty big jump.
How old is he in the first one?
9.
Like 11? Oh,
9.
that was close.
Yeah, he's 9, and what's her name is 14.
The Queen is?
Padme is 14. Yeah.
Dang.
So in this one, I think we still need a summary.
We
Just
still
a
need-
quick summary.
We haven't done that.
We'll just go by point by point.
Well, we haven't done any summaries in the other. We've just asked Cam Dog.
I think we've missed an opportunity.
All right. Well, if you're gonna summarize it, go for it.
I don't have
You know what? Your mission, since you don't get to choose to accept it, but you will get it when we record episode 3. You can just go ahead and go to Screen Rant and find their summary and have Chat GPT write it in a way that it's not Screen Ranty.
Okay.
There you go.
I like that.
There you go. Dan's new mission. All right.
Yeah.
So you liked that Jar Jar. You don't know why he was put in charge of something, but you liked that he wasn't as active in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What else? What else? Likes? What are your big enjoyments from episode 2? Did you really love the dialogue between Anakin and Padme?
Oh yeah, the Anakin's so freaking creepy. He's like,
he is,
and he kept saying "m'lady," like dog. He says it like 4 times in one scene, and he just keeps saying it. Like,
yeah,
that was one of the things I said was stop saying "m'lady," a freaking creep.
Yeah, yeah.
About half of my notes are just Anakin being a
angry
creep.
at Anakin.
No, let's quit talking about the things that you like and just go through your Anakin as a creep notes.
Just read through them.
Let's see here.
We already talked about how much he hates sand.
Yeah. Anakin's super sassy. I don't know what that says.
I'm not sure either.
I said bro's a predator.
He's younger. He's a predator.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's a Jedi.
Yeah.
He's using mind tricks on her.
Stop touching her, creep. That was right. I'm pretty sure that's right before their first kiss.
Okay.
And he's just like caressing her shoulder.
So
she did have a very exposed shoulder. That dress did look very pretty on her.
I want to know something from the perspective of a person who's just watched it, right? Mm-hmm. Stop touching her, creep is how you just phrased it.
Did you think that dress was pretty on her?
Does this feel a little bit like Stockholm syndrome to you? That like
he probably knows what that is.
There.
He's smart.
Yeah, you know what Stockholm syndrome is?
I think so.
Okay, what do you think it is? It's a good start.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to describe it. Like, I know I've heard of it.
So it's when somebody gets kidnapped and then they fall in love with their captor.
Dang it, I was going to say that too, but I was thinking that was something else.
Yeah, boy, you are taking after Uncle Dan here with like, took it right out of my mouth.
I was going to say that, but I questioned myself.
But it kind of feels that way of like, at the beginning, she is not enjoying his advances at all, and near the end...
But then she's just like, I love you! Like
that sounded just like Jar Jar.
Wow. Your Princess Amidala is spot on.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It does feel like that.
You used to make a good impressionist.
She had correct instincts with...
stay away.
Yeah, you've sworn an oath.
Yep.
I have... responsibilities. Mm-hmm. This is a bad idea. You're creepy, and this dress looks really good on me.
I don't know that she fell into that last category as much as
I think she knew.
As
she's
you
like,
did.
I can get a king of a planet. I can get a governor.
Yeah.
I can get the chancellor.
Yeah. Well, she's 24 at this point, so she should probably stay away from the chancellor because he's still farting dust. But he's
the previous one.
The previous chancellor? Old. Yeah. Chancellor Valorum?
Yeah, he's still old.
So
she can do better.
Yeah, or she'll die from it.
I mean, she's wearing that dress.
So she seems like through this whole thing, it seems more like a coerced romance than it does like them actually falling in love.
There's no chemistry. That's why.
So I've never been able to figure out, is that because of the very wooden dialogue, or is it because there was very little that they were given in way of direction? Because George Lucas is famous for giving 2 critiques as a director. Do you know what they are, Dan?
Lots of cutaways.
No, faster and more intense, right? Like that famously when you talk to,
which is great when Darth Maul's on screen.
Well, right, but when you're talking to like Han Solo and Leia and they're having a moment and they're like, George, what do you want us to do? Carrie Fisher was like, he literally looked at us and said, faster and more intense. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
So like brilliant creative mind.
I don't remember the line, but Anakin says something about love and he's being very whiny about it. And I immediately think of Han Solo and the I love you, I know.
Yeah.
That was a way better line. Now, George Lucas famously did not write that line. We even talked about that.
No. We didn't. No, Harrison Ford came up with that.
So George Lucas wrote I love you too. And Harrison Ford says, no, that's not what he'd say.
It's not that kind of movie, kid.
Yeah, he refused to do it. He changed it. But that's not the movie that we're talking about.
No, so there is chemistry. Like, the dialogue is very wooden. It's really
I think it's
hard.
a mixture of a lot of things.
But it feels so much like coercion, not like romance.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, this is one of the things, and I know we've talked around this a lot, like how we want to do Camden Becomes a Star Wars in this whole series, is in the Clone Wars series and in the extended universe in the books, you finally get this idea that, like, these two, Padme and Anakin, actually did love each other, that there's a legit relationship here, that it's more than just... Like, he has this weird...
Roping a creep?
Yeah. That
he's a schoolboy
like
crush
he's,
on...
doing this, and she's like, oh, let's get married, because he, like, rubbed her shoulder the right way, and, that does something to Naboo princesses, where now all of a sudden they're like, and she's, falling all over him. It's so weird.
I would have been...
mind tricks.
Yeah.
So, first off, if I were her, and I'm not, I would be way more interested in Daddy Kenobi.
So first off, Kenobi at this time is already smitten with somebody else.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I wouldn't be interested in this pup that he was a little kid when I saved him.
Yeah.
But they have a pre-existing relationship where he's a child.
But they don't. She doesn't see him
Kenobi
again.
is way better.
Like, isn't this the first time? And
he's handsome.
I don't remember enough about this movie.
He's a Jedi Master.
That isn't this the first time that they see each other? Like,
he's got a
since
British
then?
accent,
right? So she hasn't seen him in like
sing.
She hasn't seen him in like 10 years, and he went away as a chubby little.
Certainly,
I'm gonna pod race kid, and he comes back as Hayden Christensen.
Annie, you've grown up, or something like that. Yeah, I know, but that's a creepy line.
Yeah, it is,
especially in context. So again, this is backing up my point that I don't buy it. I think if anything, she would go, "Wow, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He can sing.
He has better hair now."
Yeah,
that's what I would think.
Yeah, probably. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is more interested in Duchess Satine of the Mandalorians than he is.
Mm-hmm. I've heard about that too.
Yeah, which is it's scandalous. I also think that that's something that Dave Filoni wrote in, which kind of gives a reason for Obi-Wan to sort of turn a blind eye to this, is because he like remembers that he had
I did too. I struggled with this too.
I had a dalliance. You know what? There is a deleted scene that has come out from and it's sort of, I don't know where it fits in the timeline, if it's episode 2 or episode 3, but essentially that like Obi-Wan, you know what? It's 2 scenes, one from 2 and one from 3, where Obi-Wan reveals that he knows that Anakin and Padme got married, and that like he has turned a blind eye to it for forever. So the one in episode 2 is just like a few lines, and then there's one in episode 3 that's much deeper. Those got deleted, and the dialogue for both of those scenes is beautiful. And what stays in is how much Anakin hates sand because it gets everywhere.
Yeah,
and it's so coarse and irritating.
So he's a creep.
Much like Anakin.
What's next in your notes?
Did you say much like it's coarse and irritating like Anakin? Yeah, nicely done. Well played, Camden.
Yeah, very well played.
Yeah.
So what else? What else?
Yeah. What other
do you
creepy Anakin things do you have?
Or do you have something?
I got a friend who named their kid Anakin. Doesn't that seem like a bad omen? You keep looking at your notes. We're riffing.
That does seem like a
this
bad
is
omen.
vamping. We're
we
vamping
riff?
so
He's
that you
gonna
can
die to
find
some
some
lava.
stuff.
Would you let us riff?
Yeah. Well,
Can we
Danley
riff for a
sits
minute?
over there in his red hood hat.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Michael
there.
Uslan may be coming on the show here pretty soon. Executive producer of all of the Batman films.
Freaking awesome.
Dang.
Yep. Okay, so what do you got? What else you got? As we famously said a million times
I
on
know.
all of our
I
Star Wars
heard that and I went,
episodes.
I gotta stop saying that.
Yeah, I like it.
What's next in your book of thoughts?
Nah. Give us something else from your Legos book.
I like that. I do love your book, dude. Where'd you get that book?
I don't know. I think I got it for Christmas.
Yeah,
I think
his
it's very
grandma
cool.
bought it for him
Your grandma.
from the Disney Springs
Your
Lego
grandma
store.
does not like Guns N' Roses.
No.
She does not
was
like
my parents.
us making fun of college.
Nope.
But she does like Lego books.
And she doesn't like how much I talk.
to like normal college.
She doesn't like how much I talk on our episodes either.
She probably doesn't like TikTok either.
She
I'm
threw
guessing.
some serious shade at me.
That was so good.
That was so funny.
So good.
All right, so what else you got?
What's next?
What questions do you have about Star Wars Episode 2?
So whenever Obi-Wan is in like the diner and he's
Yes.
talking to like chubby alien
He's
dude.
talking to Dax.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy.
Mhm.
He says to Anakin to pull out his pocketbooks. Do Jedis have pocketbooks?
It's a great
I
question.
guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like that implies that pocketbooks exist. In
So
I mean,
there are
currency
a lot of
exists.
things that exist,
Yeah.
right?
Currency
Within that-
exists.
Is there like a
Books. There are books.
is there like an overall currency throughout all of the universe?
So
credits?
No, there's not.
But
There
that's
is
not the
throughout all of
universe.
the Republic is
Yeah.
that there's Republic credits, but those don't do you very much good on the Outer Rim. And then after, like it changes kind of throughout. But yes, there are different kinds of currency. Like the Mon Calamari have their own currency, which is what Din Djarin gets paid in the first episode of The Mandalorian, and they look kind of like, I don't know, like weird scallops. It's strange.
What did you think about the assassination attempt on Padme, where Jango Fett and I forget the person's name, but the shapeshifter send some slugs into her room? Two very deadly assassins.
I don't get
put
how it
some
took
bugs.
Anakin and Obi-Wan so long to react. Like they're just like arguing, and then all of a sudden they're both like, "Whoa," you know?
Well,
I don't know that.
I think the disturbance in the Force, and this is me just irresponsibly speculating, I think the disturbance in the Force was not bigger than the disturbance that was caused by their disagreement. And that it wasn't until like the Force alerted them that death was on the line.
I just think a worm pooping robot is such a weird. It cut a hole into the, and pooped the worms in. Why couldn't it just have just shot her?
That's true.
And I know there's suspension of disbelief, and you just go with this fantasy that there's these worms that they really want to go kill the princess, but come on.
Well, I think it's sort of the same thing.
I think I could have done a better job killing
It's like, okay, so you could go into a room and kill somebody with a spear, right? If you're looking at, because this is supposed to be this kind of samurai-esque type story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. So
there's a lot of cool scenes in samurai movies where you have a string and you drip poison from the ceiling.
Right.
It's very stealthy
or you
and-
throw an asp in the room, like a poisonous snake. Right, and they would throw. Yeah, I mean that's one of the
That's how
like the
Cleopatra
primary.
died.
Yeah, the primary ways that people
She
either
died by asp.
Yeah, that they would put a poisonous snake in the room or in the bed with somebody, and the snake would bite them, and so that there wasn't this like direct connection to assassination, or that it was a little bit more veiled.
Caesar was stabbed in the back.
By a lot of people.
Even Brutus, even you, Brutus.
Yep.
Okay, so your thoughts on the assassination attempt, where you don't know why it took Obi-Wan and Anakin so long to figure out that it was happening?
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah,
also,
I can understand that.
What alerted R2-D2 to wake up? Did he just like feel a disturbance in the Force, and then he just like shined a light and was like, "Guess
I think
nothing."
little Arthur just knows everything.
I think we call him that from now on.
Right? Yeah, I think little Arthur is he's
all-knowing.
really the hero of the story. And I think that
He does do a lot.
if anyone were to look at this entire Star Wars saga and say, okay, which character is George Lucas? It's little Arthur.
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of necessary hero in all of it. They're like
He's kind of
without
there at all the
R2-D2
pivotal points, and if he wasn't there, things would fall apart.
Yeah, without R2-D2, you don't have the series.
he's
Like
the
they never make
cornerstone.
it off the Death Star.
Yeah.
He's the cornerstone upon
Yeah.
which George Lucas built.
The Federation, the Trade Federation, keeps their blockade on Naboo, Anakin dies in space, and the story is over.
And then the Empire would have been in power for longer, and everything would have been better.
Yeah, and you
And
probably
those filthy rebels wouldn't have started.
you just get Dooku and Palpatine, and then that's it.
Yeah. So next we've got the planet of Camino, the ocean planet.
You might still actually have Qui-Gon.
Yeah, everything's better.
Yeah, boy, everything is better.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. R2-D2 sucks.
Okay,
You mean
Camino.
little Arthur, get it
So
right.
so
Yeah, little
Obi-Wan
Arthur.
Obi-Wan is sent to investigate Camino, right? And these,
Yes.
and we see
Hold
the
on.
introduction of the clones. Go ahead.
Before this,
And the Kaminoans.
why do the little kids have lightsabers, which is like the most dangerous weapon of all?
Because you got to learn how to. You got to
But,
learn
like,
how to
what
do
if
it
one
early.
of them is just
yeah,
like,
like
wee,
I'm with
and
you.
then just,
I'm
like,
with you. What happens? What
decapitates.
happens when you give kids finger paint?
Exactly.
It gets everywhere, right? There's no control. Let's give them a weapon that can slice through anything.
Sure, but like, how many Jedi kids do you have?
None.
Right, and then you have Jedi that are training the Jedi kids.
Yeah.
Like, if one kid starts getting out of hand with the lightsaber, Master Yoda just picks him up and puts him over in the corner and takes his lightsaber away, and the rest of the class
It's-
goes. You know.
Probably a similar comparison would be like in Texas, we train with guns, right?
Right, yeah.
Like I gave my son a.
He's got a
what was that,
BB gun.
9mm was a 20 cal or 20 cal
20 cal. So 22.
22.
Yeah.
When he was, I don't know, 5, but I was with him on the range.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, yeah.
It wasn't a gift I gave him, but
Yeah.
we were on the range. I showed him how it works, and that's what they're doing is they're training the kids.
Yeah,
They're
and I
training
mean,
the
I
young-
think we were single digits whenever we got our first BB guns and pellet guns and
Yep.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So probably
Just a
something
little
similar to
different
that.
than a lightsaber,
I
but-
want to go back to this idea of the Yoda punishment for just a second. Did your parents ever like put you in the corner whenever you were growing up?
Yeah, but
like
it
tell you to
didn't
put your
work. It
nose in the
didn't
corner.
work very well.
Okay, so my grandmother, when we would put our nose in the corner and we were like, so that was like time out is go put your nose in the corner. If we were jacking around and like not really keeping our nose in the corner,
Because eventually
or-
you're just going to look and see what you can get away with.
or if we had funny thoughts and laughed quietly to ourselves, she would take cans of green beans and we would have to stand on top of the cans of green beans. So one of two things would happen. Yeah, either your feet would just get like in terrible pain from standing on the green beans, or you would stand on your tiptoes. And if you look at the young men in my family, we all have phenomenal calves, and I like directly
You were just doing
correlate
calf
it with
raises?
Yeah, we were just standing on our tiptoes in the corner like for days at a time for getting in trouble for stuff because she was not going to spank us. My mom was not letting somebody else do that.
That is
so
pretty
yeah,
funny.
yeah. So we just stood on cans.
Really,
in the
your
corner.
mom was protective about punishment.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, like her and dad could punish us, but other people, no, you didn't touch her kids. Like we could stand in the corner on soup cans, but
That's creative, and it's not physical violence.
no, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But
All right.
but it did give us all great calves. These are award-winning. They're champion calves.
Discipline and excellent calves.
Yeah, for sure.
So Camino,
The two things that everybody's looking for.
what did you think about the clone army?
I thought it was pretty cool. So
Your answer can't be that from now on.
no, so
What do you think about this? It's
That's pretty cool.
I mean it was.
Yeah, you have to say bustin' or not bustin'.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty busting.
It was pretty busting. I'll agree.
So
Elaborate, please.
and we see the introduction of Boba, which is Jango's clone that was unaltered.
that's one of my questions. So that is Boba Fett?
C.
It is young Boba.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Right? Am I correct in that? You
Yeah.
gave me a crazy look about the unaltered. Like
No, yeah,
they
he
weren't-
doesn't have the
chip
chip
and all
in
that
him.
stuff in
Yeah,
there.
that's correct.
And he also didn't go through the training.
Well,
You know,
and he doesn't.
personally
So
did it,
he
from my understanding.
he does go through some training, but he doesn't have the accelerated growth that the other clones have.
Yes.
The other
Right,
ones
so-
grow,
so
like,
they're
what
a-
would they say, like 5 times faster or something?
Yeah, yeah. So by the time they're 5 years old, they're 25. They're in the bodies of 25-year-olds. They're already at war, but their brains develop at the same rate that their bodies do. So,
But does that also mean that they have much less time to like be good fighters? Because I mean,
oh yeah, but the clone army is made. That is the Republic's answer to the droid army, which is a army that is manufactured as like battle fodder. Mm-hmm. So the clone lives, and this is one of the big things that happens in the Clone Wars series.
You remember how terrible shots they are?
Yeah.
This is why.
The clones are not terrible shots. The
Stormtroopers.
But Stormtroopers aren't clones.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, they do away with all that. That's how you
I'm
get...
trying to tie it in all together.
The clones are pretty good shots. Because like
they are.
Whenever Yoda comes in on the ship.
All right, fine. Well, why don't you just lead the show then?
Go for
Dang it. I broke.
It was so close. Yeah, so the clones are interesting. You do meet Boba Fett, but what's your thoughts on the clone army other than it's pretty bussin'?
What made them choose that guy?
Django,
yeah, that's the name.
Athleticism, lethality, intelligence.
So he's just overall good.
Yeah, he had the skill set that they were looking for.
Yep.
And they were like, "You want like a ton more of yourself?"
He's like, "Yeah, where are the ladies?
Yeah,
no,
so
we're gonna take your blood and just make more."
So he's being hired. I say this. He's being hired by a shadow organization that's working within the Republic to do this. So this was something that Palpatine started to do without the knowledge of the rest of the Republic, was to create this particular clone army, and he's just hired to donate blood in order to be cloned in exchange for all the rest of this. For the bounty hunters, just another gig for Django.
What did you think about Count Dooku? This is also the introduction to a one Christopher Lee.
Yeah, at least in this series, you've seen Christopher Lee before in other stuff, right?
Probably.
Well, yeah, as many in this.
Probably.
I mean, in this series.
How do you not know whether or not you've seen
know.
Christopher Lee
I don't
before?
know
Oh my
actors.
gosh!
Do you know about Christopher Lee?
Yeah,
Camden?
does you know about Christopher Lee?
Maybe. What else is he?
First of all, okay, Christopher Lee
Is bustin'.
he's very busted.
Yep.
He got permission. I think it's the King of Portugal, to marry his niece, which would have been, he would have been a count, I guess. He didn't, but also his cousin, Christopher Lee's cousin, Arthur Fleming. Did I get that right?
Big Arthur.
Huh?
Ian Fleming.
Ian Fleming.
Yeah.
Ian Fleming. I knew that felt wrong. Ian Fleming, who wrote James Bond, based James Bond off of Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee is 007?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Because he was in the Secret Service, or the MI6, or in the war, he was a spy against the Germans. So he based this character off of his cousin, Christopher Lee. He was also a villain in James Bond movie.
Christopher Lee was?
He's
Francisco
Saruman.
Scaramanga.
He's Saruman in Lord of the Rings,
Right.
who corrected the director on... he gets stabbed in the back. I'll throw that spoiler out. He gets stabbed in the back, and the director says, "No, that's not. I want you to go I want you to make a loud sound."
Y'all talked about
he
this.
said,
Yeah.
that's not how it sounds when someone gets stabbed in the back.
Yeah, y'all have talked about this before.
We
So
have.
this
Yep,
is
yep.
Count Dooku.
Yeah, that's the guy
He's-
that plays Count Dooku.
And he rides a little moped thing.
He's the most interesting man in the world, and he rides a little moped.
He does ride a little moped. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, are you a Lord of the Rings?
No.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Don't watch it.
You're not in the sense that like you haven't watched them, or
I've
you're
not seen a single one
That's
of
good.
them. and
Okay,
I,
That's
yep,
great.
don't.
watch
and I
it.
know like nothing about them.
That's great.
Perfect.
Like with Star Wars, I knew some things about Star Wars before I started watching. I know absolutely nothing about Lord of the
The Lord of the Rings is also busting, just like
Is it though?
Very
just like
busting.
the Star Wars.
Well, you will find out.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Okay.
if you're
So
up for it.
Count Dooku, what are your thoughts on the Dukes?
Well, he's pretty cool. He rides a little moped. That was the most notable thing I remember about him.
Yes. His lightsaber's weird.
Whose moped is cooler,
Yeah, it's
his
like-
or Darth Maul?
Darth Maul, was his a moped? Or was his a speeder bike?
It looked kind of
Also,
like a
when
little
you say
moped.
that Count Dooku rides a moped, I'm sure I remember this, but right now all I see him on is a Seafoam Vespa.
Yeah.
I don't
what-
remember this.
that's basically
I'm just
the
going
same
with
thing.
it. Yeah. So what about his lightsaber? That's a good question.
It's
It's
it's like
curved. It's got a curved handle.
Yeah. I noticed I didn't notice that immediately, but while he's fighting Yoda, I was like, "What's up with lightsaber?
What's
Why
up
it
with
look
that?
like that?"
What's up with that?
He does. He has a very unique dueling lightsaber, and he is known sort of across all Force users, both Sith and Jedi, as like one of the greatest duelists of all time.
And he had to like play dirty just to get away from Yoda.
Yes.
So
Yoda.
What do you think about Yoda?
Yeah, Yoda was.
He has freaking claws. He could do some damage with those things.
Oh, he has claws. I thought you said he is claws, and I thought this was going to replace Bussin.
Sandy Claus. Yeah, he's got these green claws. So what did you think about the lightsaber? First off, in this one, he's CGI. Mm-hmm. So let's talk Yoda.
I didn't think he looked too bad throughout most of the movie. But after the climax and like after he fights, he looks significantly worse.
Yeah.
Like the CGI, they just like gave up after... Or they like used all of their budget on the fight or something. And they were just like, well, we still need him, but like the shading, that's the biggest thing I noticed was the shading was completely off. Like you couldn't tell where the light was coming from.
Oh yeah, after he's done fighting.
And also his color is off. Anyway, sorry.
Well, there are some theories as to why the colors are off. So Dooku was Yoda's apprentice. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Dooku, if you watch the Tales of the Jedi series, Dooku and Mace Windu go on a mission together, and they're both up for a spot on the council. And because of the way Count Dooku handles things on his mission with Mace Windu, Mace gets selected for the position and not Dooku because Dooku's going like way too rogue. But that's like how highly thought of he was. And now this begins... But I say it begins. This is part of his sort of, I guess, romance with the dark side, where he moves into becoming the apprentice of Palpatine. So Yoda has a really interesting connection there because it's master versus apprentice.
I'm sorry.
It's master versus apprentice there in that battle. So one of the things that is been thrown around is that maybe some of the coloring, not necessarily with the light, but maybe some of the coloring is intentional because Yoda is exhausted. He's 800 and something years old.
That's it.
He should not be flipping around.
Right, he shouldn't be flipping around and fighting, but also
they shouldn't have made him flip around
like
because
now,
that's not why he's powerful.
He's fighting his apprentice, right? And one of the best duelists in the galaxy. He's having to save people's lives. Anakin's hurt. Obi-Wan's like incredibly injured. And Yoda is finally realizing that like, no, the Sith are legit and they're being led by, in his mind, they're being led by somebody that he trains and he knows how powerful Dooku is. So that there's some of those things that are there together, and that like maybe part of the coloring on Yoda is the realization of all of this, and he is, like we do sometimes, losing a little bit of the blood to his little Yoda noggin.
You can pick your choices, but not your consequences. And in this case, he realizes the consequence to training and continuing the Force and building a team. Building an academy. So,
yes.
Count Dooku.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Still alive.
Duke's
kind of a jerk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He gets in his little space bubble thing.
Yep, shoots laser beams.
Space bubble.
Or has the Force lightning, and Yoda reciprocates.
My question is this is Attack of the Clones, right?
Yeah.
Who do the clones attack?
The battle droids.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Geonosis they do.
I wrote down...
Kind of.
How do you attack somebody?
They kind of just come save people. Attack of the Clones to me implies that like they're going on a offensive. They're not. Nothing really happens. They go save some of their friends from the Republic.
Yeah.
But the scene where they come in to like the...
They did
this
initiate...
would be Attack of the Separatists.
Well, the Separatists captured people that had infiltrated them.
By attacking them.
No, they captured people that didn't do a great job of being very sneaky. Like
I'm just scatter shooting.
They needed John Turturro from Mr. Deeds if they were going to be running around there trying to be very, very sneaky, and they didn't have it. So the clones do go on the offensive here. Yeah. Yeah. That's all that little monster was trying to do to Padme, is just touch her feet. So the clones do go on the offensive. What did you think about the demise of Jango Fett?
Bro got his head chopped off. And also Mace Windu did it like so effortlessly.
Do you want to talk about Mace Windu's lightsaber, or shall I?
You go for it.
I know why it's purple.
Okay, cool. We'll move on.
Yeah, tell us why it's purple.
Yeah,
then.
tell us why.
Because Samuel L. Jackson asked.
Why? Why did he want a purple one?
Because it looks cool.
Because there wasn't one.
Yeah, there wasn't one. He wanted a purple one. They are explaining the scene. Do you know this whole story? They're explaining the scene to him, and George Lucas is like, yeah, and then this person, and all these people are going to be around there and all that. And
how are they going to see me?
Yeah, how am I going to know which one I am? And George Lucas is like, I don't know. And then they go. So like this is the initial conversation. Then they go to pick their lightsaber colors, and that's when Sam Jackson's like, "Can I have a purple one?" It's like, yeah, and so he says, all I did was ask. But the point of him asking was, he was like, because I don't want to be sitting around with my friends and be like, no, I'm in there. Be like, nah, I'm the dude with the purple lightsaber. He wants to make sure that people knew exactly where he was. So, yeah, smart move on Sam Jackson's part.
So we end with them saving their friends.
Yep.
The separatists retreating, Count Dooku escaping.
Yep, Dooku has been revealed.
He escapes to Coruscant, in fact. And I'm trying to remember what the Emperor's doing. They talk.
Yeah.
They have a super weapon. They talk about their super weapon, which sets up the next movie. So what thoughts do you have for the next one? What do you think is going to happen? We always go with this.
Yeah.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Anakin is going to turn into Darth Vader.
Ooh, nice. What storylines are you looking other than that one?
Where did you
to
get that
tied
preposterous thought?
Yeah. Did Steve
I know Darth
tell
Maul
you that?
comes back. I've been told that Darth Maul comes back. I'm not sure if he comes back in this one, but
right.
I'm assuming he would.
Okay.
And Count Dooku is probably also going to be back. So I don't know who the big bad. Well, I guess Palpatine would be the big bad guy. Everyone else is just kind of under him.
Yeah, we see Palpatine in control of the Senate. So it's beginning, right?
Yep.
Anakin gets his robot arm, which is
I
beginning.
I didn't know that he gets his arm chopped off. The Skywalkers have a thing with that.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Which is very significant in Return of the Jedi. When Luke kind of realizes he's turning into his father.
Yarp. Hey, there we go. I've had an apostrophe, Smee.
Such a great. Are you a Hook?
I have seen it. Yeah.
Okay, well.
Would you say that it's bussin' or?
Yeah, I'd say so.
What's a good
it's pretty
negative?
bussin'.
What's a good negative?
Cap.
But that's.
Is it cap or bussin'?
Is it cap or bussin'?
The cap is a different thing.
So you've got that. You're looking forward to seeing what happens with Darth Maul, whether or not he comes back in this one. You want to see Anakin's transformation as he becomes.
He has this
Darth
crazy
Vader.
idea that it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm still not fully convinced, but there's just that one little voice in the back of my mind that's like, what if it does happen?
Yes. What if it does?
And Padme goes on to catch a predator after she marries her little friend.
Yeah. So
his oaths.
What do you think the super weapon is that they're working on? Because they talk about the super weapon. What do you think the super weapon is that the Republic is working on in secret? Or I guess that the separatists are working on in secret.
I don't know.
Because you get a glimpse of what it is from Poggle the Lesser in the next movie.
Oh, and
yeah,
Poggle.
Yeah,
Poggle. Yeah, we're best friends.
Down the street.
He got wings.
Something's falling down.
Yep.
Well,
any final words? Any parting thoughts?
Let's see.
Stop touching her, creep. It's in all caps.
Yeah, there's several things in all caps. Also, Jar Jar is in charge is in all caps.
Do you think?
Does you think
that she's pretty? in that dress.
Why are you pushing this so much?
Because her hair was great. It fell down.
I don't remember what her hair looked like in each individual scene. It changes a lot.
It spiraled down. She had a real big, pretty smile, pretty dress. She was wearing it.
Thank you guys for watching The Reverend and the Reprobate. Make sure that you check out all the awesome podcasts from Christian Nerd HQ. Like, subscribe, ding the little bell so that you get notifications for whenever our new episodes come out. For when Camden becomes a Star Wars Episode 3, when Danley tries on Padme's dress.
There's lots of dresses in our future.
You guys stay hard. Keep jamming, and we'll see you.
Look beautiful.
Thank you.